Okay, good morning. So we are up to Siman Reish Pei Hey Sif Gimel. We're halfway through the halachas of Shnayim, Mikra ve'echad Targum. Very interesting halachas, Reish Pei Hey Sif Gimel. So what we're going to discuss today is when is the start time, and then what is the end time, and also other areas like, for example, do you have to do Shnayim Mikra on Yom Tov for the Yom Tov Kriyas Haftorah, and also for the Haftorah? Do you do Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum on the Haftorah? How does that work? So let's take a look. Sif Gimel. Miyom Rishon ve'elech choshuv im hatzibur. The start time when you can begin Shnayim Mikra is Miyom Rishon ve'elech, is from Sunday onwards. Says Mishnah Berurah Sif Kotan Zayin. Kivan shemaschilin b'minchaso de Shabbato. Since that you begin Kriyas Haftorah for the next week's parsha on Shabbos Mincha, Likras Parsha Shavua haba nechshav shuv hakere kakerim hatzibur. That's called kakerim hatzibur. It doesn't necessarily mean Sunday, but it means from the Zman of Kriyas Haftorah, which is Shabbos Mincha. Says note foot 22. So when exactly does that mean? So does that mean, is it from Mincha time, when you actually daven Mincha? Does it mean Zman Mincha? So if you look at 22, it says, V'afim Megia Zman Mincha, even though it could be Zman Mincha, which let's say on Shabbos afternoon this week, I think the earliest Mincha is about 12:20. So it could be that you come home and you're waiting to have lunch and you say to yourself, you know what, so it's already Zman Mincha, I haven't davened yet, I could start Shnayim Mikra. But you personally haven't yet davened Mincha. Kosovo Agon Chaim Kanievsky. Very interesting. It's not a din in the Zman, it's a din in you davening Mincha. Once you've davened Mincha, then you can start Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum. Now, for Parshas Bereshis, das Hagon Nissen Karelitz, sheyochel lahaschel likreisa b'simchas Torah mishah sheschilu hatzibur likrei Parshas Bereshis. So when can you start Shnayim Mikra on Simchas Torah? After they've already begun laning Parshas Bereshis. But before that, not. Okay, let's carry on. Sif Kotan Ches. So he said the Mechaber, even though the Mechaber, by the way, the Piskei Teshuvas is quite perplexed about this because the Mechaber and the Rishonim seem to say it's Miyom Rishon ve'elech. So what the Mishnah Berurah says is actually quite lenient, that it's Zman Mincha on Shabbos. And according to what we've said, it's dafka when you personally have daven Mincha. Okay, Choshev, but that's what the Olam Noeg, that you do it already from when you daven Mincha on Shabbos afternoon, you have to wait till Sunday morning. Sif Kotan Ches, Choshev im hatzibur, Kama achrenim kosvu, to min hamuvcha hu likreis be'erev Shabbos. Some poskim say, some achrenim say that the prime time to do Shnayim Mikra is dafka on Erev Shabbos, and that seems to be the hanhoga of some people. That Rabbi Yashav and others, I think dafka they would do it on Friday morning, and they would just do the whole lot in one go. V'ayin b'shari tshuva. Of a sefer Matzah Yehuda Kosov, the imu kerim mitchilas hashvua v'hala, that if you do it from the beginning of the week and going throughout the week, who gam kein bichlal mitzvah muvcha. That's also considered mitzvah min muvcha to do it. Or k'moshe Kosov beis Yosef, the muchach min divrei harambam, came with divrei Rambam. V'chein b'sefer Ma'aser Rav Kosov b'hanhogas hagra, shoynoig tekef achat tefillah b'chol yom nikra miktsas hased mehasedra Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum Messiah be'erev Shabbos. And there's another. He would do it a little bit every single day. So in other words, there seems to be two mitzvahs min muvcha, and both are absolutely fine. One is to do the whole lot Erev Shabbos, one is to do a little bit every single day, and both are absolutely fine. Two interesting notes. Number one, can you do Shnayim Mikra on Tisha B'Av? So if it says in 23 that you shouldn't, Likris Shnayim Mikra b'Tisha B'Av Kosav b'Shatzin l'Kamon she'asa gam l'mi she'roga Likris Shnayim Mikra b'Meshech Yimos HaShavua. If your practice is to do a bit every day, and then one of those days is Tisha B'Av, you should not really be doing Shnayim Mikra on Tisha B'Av. Number one. Number two, if you look at 24, he says this practice of doing it every day, not only was it the Vilna Gaon, but also the Chazon Ish would not do it on Erev Shabbos, but he would do a little bit every single day. If you look at 24, V'chein Chazon Ish, Noag loima kol yom k'tzas mea parsha, and shoyim mashe parsha achas leker b'Shabbos lachat tefillah b'boiker. That he would leave over the last bit to read it Shabbos morning in the morning. But Noah came kimin sheba'ifen zeh nechshav shemashim pashav im hatzibur haynu la'achas hatzibur siyam nikra b'Torah. That he would do it after shul on Shabbos morning. Was it after shul? Yeah, la'achat tefillah. And therefore he's sort of being mashlim im hatzibur. Now, we mentioned yesterday there are some people who do like psuchas and sumas. But I think what I do personally is I do Rishon and then Sheni. So I was very pleased to see the next paragraph in 24. V'aminig lekere b'yom Rishon ad Sheni v'chein hala. You do Rishon on Sunday, Sheni on Monday, etc. Af she'ena mafsik b'parsha psuchas suma das hagon Chaim Kanievsky. You won't get confused. And if where was I up to? Psucha, stuma, where did I stop? It gets confusing. You go to Sheni, then you go to Shlishi, you go to that way it's clearer. Then you're also clear. Yeah, so I'm saying in the alternative one where you do a bit of a chunk at a time, you have to do psucha stuma. So he says, to say, so you don't get confused, to do one parsha, i.e. Rishon and then Sheni and Shlishi, that's absolutely fine.
It doesn't say doing each one on the day itself. It says
yeah. So I know myself. I'm just practical. If I've got 5 minutes somewhere, then I'll find myself time to do it. I know even today I was thinking myself on the way here that today we're giving the boys a faher in school, so that it's a written test. It's like the whole base of medrash is sitting for an hour, 45 minutes. They're going to be sitting and writing faher. So occasionally I go around, the guy's got a question, but I've actually got 45 minutes. Shnayim Mikra time. So I'm not going to say I'm going to do Shlishi or whatever it is. I'll do as much as I can do if I get the chance. It's always Rabbi's machshavos. Never normally happens.
There's only one. It's all one thing.
Yeah, it's long
until the end.
Yeah. Okay, good. Dalet. Mitzvah min amuvcha sheyashlim oisa kodim shecha. Now, so we've spoken about the start point. The start point is, even though the Mechaber says miyom rishon ve'elech, that the Mishnah Berurah brings that you can start already from mincha time, and Reb Chaim Kanievsky says it's when you've davened mincha, not the zman of mincha. Okay. But when is the end time? How long have you got till? So says the Mechaber in Sif Dalet, mitzvah min amuvcha sheyashlim oisa kodim sheyechel b'Shabbos. You should really try and do it before your Shabbos Suda. So if you look at Dalet in the Mishnah Berurah on that, sheyashlim oisa, says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kotten Tes, uchid is a medrash, like the mitzvah, the medrash says, she'tziva Rabbi Esponov, Rabbi instructed his children, al toichlu lechem b'Shabbos asher tigmu es kol haparsha. Dafka lechem, in other words, you want a snack and have a coffee, that's okay, but dafka don't eat the meal until you finish the parsha of Shnayim Mikra. Mikol makom pashat te'ein la'akiv machmazeh ha'chil adach chatzos. Don't hold off lunch until later in the early afternoon, until after chatzos. It's a mitzvah to try and do it if you can before the meal on Shabbos morning. So if you don't manage it's a good thing to do on Shabbos morning. If you didn't manage till then to try and get up a bit earlier on Shabbos morning to do it before shul on Shabbos morning. Okay, back to the Mechaber. Bottom line. So if you didn't manage to finish it before Shabbos lunch, then do it afterwards. Ad mincha. You've got till mincha time. Ad revi b'Shabbos. You've got until the revi b'Shabbos means Tuesday afternoon. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the first 3 days of the week. V'yesh omrim ad shmini atzeres. You've got really as long as shmini atzeres. The hainu b'simchas Torah sheb oz mashlim matzibah. Shmini atzeres, as the Mishnah will explain, means in Eretz Yisrael. But for us, in Chutz La'aretz, it's till Simchas Torah. Okay, it says in Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotten Yud, Ad HaMincha. So your prime time is, of course, to do it before Shabbos or on Shabbos morning, but before the Su'udah. But if you miss that, then you've got after the Su'udah, Ad HaMincha. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotten Yud, Mincha L'mala Maschin Ad Tzibur Likros Pash Shu Haba. Try and do it before Mincha time, because that's where they're going to be moving on to the next Sedra. If you've missed that, you've got Ad Revi b'Shabbos, says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotten Yud Aleph, the Shlosh Yom Rishonim Sheyochin Adayin K'tzas L'Shabbos She'ova. Sorry, Sheyochin Adayin K'tzas L'Shabbos She'ova, because the first 3 days of the week are shaykh to the previous Shabbos. And therefore, you can do Shnayim Mikra through till Tuesday afternoon. Same halachas of Havdalah as well. If you, for whatever reason, you couldn't do it on Shabbos, you've got till those first 3 days, till Tuesday afternoon. Ad Shmini Atzeres, and then the next stage is you've got till Shmini Atzeres. Hainu Shemeretz Yisrael. Says Sham Oisin Shmini Atzeres Rak Yom Echad. It's obviously only 1 day. For Gomer Natzibur Oz HaSefer Torah, and that is the day when you finish the Torah. Olachein b'di'eved Mikri Ad Yom Hahu Mashlim Parshas Matzibur. And then sort of minimally you can call it Mashlim Parshas Matzibur because you finish the whole cycle of Torah. But again, these are all b'diavad, and it's not a good idea to wait till Shmini Atzeres or even till Tuesday afternoon. But you should try and finish it if you can by at least by Shabbos. She'oz mashlimin batzibur v'yesh likros oz shnai mikra ve'echot targum u'deloi ka'isen shekarin mikra lechud kiven shechos legam hatargum. What was that going on? Okay. Because you should not just read the Mikra itself, you should be reading the Targum as well, because otherwise it'd be chos of that. Okay, good. Now, Sif Hey, Yochel Likres HaParsha Shnayim Mikra Ve'echot Targum B'Shas Kriyas HaTorah V'Ayin Le'el Siman Kuf Mevov. So that's the big discussion. Can you read Shnayim Mikra with the Bal Korah? That's the issue. So interesting. Yudalad says the Mishnah Berurah of a Siman Kuf Mevov. Mogen Avram Sif Kotzen Hey Hevi B'Shem Hashla Shemachme B'Zeh. He is strict and he says one shouldn't do it with the Bal Korah. And Kol Tzrichin Lishmei Kriya Mipi Hashliach Tzibur. Really, you should just be focused on listening to the Bal Korah and not be laning along with him to be Mekai in the mitzvah Shnai Mikra. V'chein Udas HaGrosh Shehuv B'Sefer Ma'aser Rav D'Tzorich Lishmei Kol Teva V'Teva V'Liros B'Chumish V'Lo Yisrael L'Akar Klal. Don't be helping the Bal Korah, but just follow from the Chumash and just listen carefully to Kriyas HaTorah. However, it seems like they have been tofes their opinion based on a Shibori Aleket b'shem Rabbi v'haram shehuva b'agos maimoni k'beis Yosef Sham. That's who they're following. V'terak ben gavra legavra mut, and therefore when do they do it? Ben gavra legavra or mikol mokum. And I think this is for those of us who do it during Kriyas HaTorah, which is myself and others I know, that they actually do one of the readings, one of the Mikra is to do it along with the Bal Korah, and not in an undertone, not to disturb anybody. Or mikol mokum nira delikre belachash mila b'mila ima shliach tzibur ein lahachme b'zeh. Don't have to be too strict about this. In a way, on the contrary, it might actually help concentration. Otherwise, you might sort of doze a little bit. But if you're reading with him, then it helps. Then actually, it's okay to read with the Bal Korah. So there's some interesting notes here. Number 1, 31. That's just one scary one. You see sometimes people do this. If you do Shnai Mikra during Chazoras HaShatz, says Hakosel in 31, Kosel Agon Chaim Kanievsky, Sheitochin Shafiru B'di'eved Lo Yotz Decheva. Okay? Shahari Zu Mitzvah Bo Bavera. Strong words. Okay? That's 31. So you got a good Makara to gently show somebody that next time you see someone doing Shnai Mikra in Chazoras HaShatz. And 32, so this I found quite comforting. What?
I assume that's it.
Certainly, yeah, talking other things. Oh, you mean learning? Yeah, absolutely. V'chein noach hagon Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky. And interestingly, by the way, you don't see Gedolim and Talmidei Chachomim learn during Chazoras HaShatz. You don't see it. On the contrary, you don't see it. I haven't seen it. Yeah, my prototype is Rabbi Shmuel. He was the Rav of the shul in Gostrooks, and he would stand there as if he was on Mishra Esra, his feet together, following word for word. Anyway, and he was a masmid. Yeah.
That was a Yachikala.
Yeah.
And the guys at the top, also shots, were all busy with
Oh yeah.
and I know to one of them.
All right. Okay. V'chein noag. Let's carry on. Footnote 32. So this is a very interesting one. So can you do Shnai Mikra with the Bal Korah? So 32. V'chein noag hagon Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky. You hear that? He did it. Hapam likrei as hapam hashnia. He would do his second Mikra al Shnai Mikra ve'echot targum yachad im hashliach tzibur or bein gavra legavra koras hatargum. So that's what he did. So he did one Mikra during the week. He would then do the second Mikra with the Bal Korah on Shabbos morning, and Ben Gavra LeGavra, he would do the Targum. I know Rabbi Tugendaf told me, I said, when do you do, he does Rashi as well. We said yesterday it's a mitzvah. So he says he pretty much does it Ben Gavra LeGavra. Obviously he's very familiar with Rashi and he can fly through it. And yeah. So different practice. The Stipler would do it dafka during Kriyas HaTorah, the Chazon Ish not. But we've seen there are two lechatchilas here, according to this. So you're okay. And I think, like we said yesterday, since this is Siman Reish Pehei Rafa, there's a bit of a laxity a little bit when it comes to Shnai Mikra. if you can, you can get it done. You can get, and there are all the ways. There seem to be lechatchila and the different practices. So certainly there's room to be a bit flexible. Okay, let's finish off. Ayin le'el siman kuf mem vov. The sham masik amachab b'sif base the nochel medagdik b'divrei the chavin daita l'shama mepi akira from mishum the chashash shema gamkein l'das aposkim shebeis nemala. Okay, good. Vov. Now, this is a bit what you were asking yesterday, Yossi. Melamde tinoikas ein tzrichin lachzav v'likros haparsha b'Shabbos. So if you're teaching Parshas Chayei, let's say, this week, and you're going through the psukim, you can actually have in mind Shnayim Mikra. And therefore, l'chera, Yossi, certainly if you're preparing the parsha, if that's what your kavana, then l'chera, that would be okay. It says in Mishnah Berurah Tezvav, Tezayin, Melamde tinoikas, V'dafka b'meihem shoyloim dim pirush hamikra atanokas. So there he wants to do not just the mikra, but he wants to do the targum as well. So if you're teaching the psukim, that could be considered the targum, and therefore you don't need to do the targum because you're explaining the psukim. V'lachein yotzim bazeh gam yidei targum or chutel b'sif beis. Avlim loy made pirush hamilas lechud. You're just saying literally bereshis, bara, elakim, etc. Lo yotzi de targum. All you've been yotze is the 2 times of targum of the mikra and not the targum. The bevadai kara imatinokas shnei pa'om, because you certainly you're going over and over it with the kids. You certainly did it twice. And therefore you need to say the targum by yourself. That's the machas shekel v'chein besad prima godim. Okay, and then we said ein strichin lachzav v'likros haparsha b'Shabbos because you've already said it twice. Smikan. Very interesting. Do you have to do it in the nigun of the Golker? So, do you have to lane it with them? So you see from here, not necessarily, because if you're doing it with the kids, when you do it with the kids, you don't necessarily do it with the nigun. Yeah, I think in some in the Zilberstein they do, but generally speaking, you don't. So therefore, it's alright. Don't have to. But the mice, I think the olam and naik to do that. I certainly do it when I do Shnayim Mikra. I try and do it with the. And again, according to the Svara, that one of the reasons for Shnayim Mikra is to help in case the Golker is unable and you got to step in. It's a prep. So therefore, that is a Svara to do it with the nigun.
Would sound great with tuba.
Fair enough. Okay, Zion. Ein sarich likres parshas Yontov. Now this is the final thing. Do you have to do Shnayim Mikra on Yontov? Says Machaba Zion. Ein sarich likres parshas Yontov. You don't have to do Shnayim Mikra on for the Yontov Kriyas Torah. Says the Ramah. V'chein ein sarich likres Haftorah. Nor do you have to do Shnayim Mikra for Haftorah. Or Mikol Makom, Nagu Likris Haftorah. The minhag is to look over the Haftorah. Or B'Shabbos Shel Chasna Yikra Haftorah Shel Shabbos. And even though there's a Chasna there on that Shabbos, you do the regular Haftorah, V'lo Sois Osis. Which was my bar mitzvah Haftorah, just coincidentally, which is Nitzavim, and therefore, because in that you'll see in the Mishnah Berurah, Ein Sarich. So you don't need to do the Yont of Kriyas Torah Shnayim Mikra. Why not? Rotzalema says the Mishnah Berurah Yudches, She'ein Sarich Likres LaAtzmai Shnayim Mikra ve'echot targum do kva kara kol haTorah midei Shabbos b'Shabbatoi, because you've been through the whole Torah just on a regular, through the regular cycle. Of Yom HaShana Rabbah Yikra Shnayim Mikra ve'echot targum Pashas Zos HaBrocha. When do you, that's the famous question, when do you do V'zos HaBrocha? So he says, really from Hoshana Rabbah, and if you did it on Shmini Atzeres, lo hifsid. Okay, just have a look at this 34. Footnote 34. V'chein in Kriyas Dalet Parshas. Also, when you have the extra lanings for the Dalet Parshas, Shnayim Mikra ve'echot targum kosav b'shalat shuvas Igros Moshe b'shemitam zeh shekvar kara oisom b'Shabbos b'sidram poshet she'ein tzorich likrosim shuv v'chein haragon risan karedes. So that when it comes to the extra laning, let's say for the Dalet Parshas, you don't need to do Shnayim Mikra on that. It's just the Sedra, because if you just do the Sedra, then over the course of the year you've covered everything anyway. So there's no need to do the Yontef or the Dalet Parshas laning. So let's carry on. V'nagul likros Haftorah. Tam HaMinhag, the reason to look at the Haftorah, Shema Yikru'u L'mochel L'mafta. Maybe you'll get called up tomorrow. I must say it happens to me quite often in the Adas and Hashkoma that someone's called me Shabbos morning, can you do Haftorah today? And in fact, my father, would always, on Friday night, would always get Chazir Ibad the Haftorah. After he would sat there, he would just to lay in the Haftorah, and because sometimes Shabbos morning they would say to him, Mr. Golker, can you just to read, to lay in the Haftorah? Oh no! Even he says, no. Look at the next words. Some of the words are a bit confusing. Yossi, you're a Golker, so for you it's not an issue. But the reason why they keep asking me in the Adas and a few other people is because most people don't feel comfortable on the morning itself to just get up and do the Haftorah without preparing beforehand. Yossi, you're thinking like a Golker. For you, it's a pella that other people can't. But What's 36? 36, yeah, I've got it underlined. Umashmish of mokum she'abal kerehu keres Haftorah migav shebeklaf einat sibut tzrichim likras atzmam as Haftorah. Yeah, because why? Because the Golker is going to do it from a klaf. 36, yeah, that's exactly. V'gam ha'chazon ish lo keres Haftorah la'atzmai. V'yitachin shemitam ze lo kar. So if you know that there's going to be someone doing it, but it's a nice thing to do. I should really start knowing like this. That my father used to do it, and to always just go over for the Haftorah on Friday night, in case you're called upon, and therefore you're going to be baki v'rogibah. Mashen came b'shal pasha shel yontov she'asam mechazon hu hakara. What was that?
So you just do the psukim, there's no
Right, so I was wondering, does it mean Shnayim Mikra Targum? It's masha from this that is dafka the Mikra. It's mashma. Yeah. Well, it could be that you could argue that it's Shnayim Mikra Targum, so you can do it properly and you understand it. I was in a recently, it was Rosh Hashanah, I was in a minyan, and the guy who gets the Haftorah, you could tell that he was living the Haftorah. It was if the Novi was talking. It was amazing. Maybe, okay. Shal Shabbos, let's just finish off. Sif Kotzen Chof. So we said you don't have to Mikomakum Nogan Likras Haftorah, but Shabbos Shel Chasna. Yeah, so the Chassan should read, or whoever gets the Haftorah should read the Haftorah of that Shabbos and not Sois Osis. Rotzelema Sheyesh Minig Be'ez Mekoimis Shekurin Atzibu Levad Me Haftorah Asidra Oid Likra Ele Psukim. In addition to the Shabbos the Haftorah of that week, they would lay in a few Psukim from Sois Osis. Why? Because it says there, Mishum du Motzi V'shog B'vyakol. Sorry, I missed the line. Eze Psukim Haftorah Sois Osis. Sorry, Mishum D'chsiv Bo K'choson Yechahen Pe'er. That and therefore it's referring to a chos, and therefore the minig was to lay in a few psukim. The kamash blond the b'shas shekar la'atzma Haftorah ein tzarich likros el psukim. So you have to add, if there's a chas, there's an offer for that Shabbos in shul, you have to add in the extra psukim. You just need to just do the Haftorah. Mishum du motzi v'shagul k'fi hakol l'baki bohen v'lo yizu akriya. Everyone knows these psukim. Of the Arab Pashas, Yikra Haftorah, the Arab Pashas, and on the Arab Pashas, do the Haftorah of Arab Pashas. Okay, there you go. Shnayim Mikra Targum. Say it.